And I am not gonna give up until I get it. All my money got big, yeah, racks, way too tall, yeah, racks, way too tall, yeah.
All right, you guys, happy Saturday. I wanted to let you know I did get the pickling process started. If you've been following me on Instagram, you would know. Got my cucumbers. They are in there for 24 hours. So Sunday, tomorrow, I will start the canning and the other part of it. But I spoke nicely to my cucumbers. They're taking a nice little bath, and I'll see them tomorrow. But I did want to let y'all know I have got it started. And Monday for next week's meal preps, I should have lime pickles back, baby. I'm so excited. What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another check-in. It is week 11 of Journey to Redefine Me. I'm kind of getting like, how many weeks are we going to be having in this Journey to Redefine Me? Because I'm not sure what the next, transition is out of this. So I might start like titling it different, just be like weekly check-in or something like that, instead of doing like the amount of weeks. Worked a lot better in the shred. Whereas now I'm like, when is it gonna technically end, But anyways, this week was a roller coaster. It started off great, was doing really well. Training was good. What I mean by roller coaster is just like a lot of stuff happening back to back to back. And we had some live stuff, which I'll get into in just a second. But essentially, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, normal. Got my training done, all of that type stuff. As y'all know, Wednesday I went and filmed at the church, which was super fun. My announcement video went live today with the church, and like everybody was like, oh my gosh, like you did really good. Like I don't really share with a lot of church people and stuff like that I run a YouTube or do YouTube or social media. Some of them follow me on my TikTok, and they know that I do like workout videos, and they know that I'm doing that type of stuff, but they don't know the full extent. It's kind of something that I've kind of kept private. I know that's crazy because it's probably like, oh, you can use those as subscribers and stuff. But I also just kind of want a little bit of privacy to it a little bit. I don't care if they follow me. I don't care if they join. Like I would love to have them, that type of stuff. But it does feel kind of cool to have like, y'all, my people over here. And then like the other part of my life over here, like there's still family that doesn't even know the extent of what I do, with social media and stuff. And I kind of like that. I kind of like it a little bit. But anyway, I was just like, yeah, like played it off. I was like, I'm used to talking in front of a camera and stuff. Well, an iPhone. This camera was more like the camera that I actually want to buy. It was a Sony. I can't remember which one he said it was. The guy that does all of our, sorry, that is driving me insane seeing that hair right there. Sorry, I'm getting my baby hairs from postpartum are finally growing out. So if y'all see in my videos, I'll have like 3 of them here and like a bunch in the back. Just ignore it. It's all growing out. It just won't go into my ponytail yet. But anyway, the guy that's in charge of our social media, our camera work and stuff, fantastic. I love talking to him, love talking cameras with him and stuff like that. So I just chatted with him for forever. And he actually knows I have a YouTube channel, which is why he wanted to talk to me and stuff like that. And that was kind of something that like, I've been in my affirmations, putting in there, like God has a purpose for you and stuff. And I feel like this social media stuff is becoming like a purpose and a way for me to, testify, but also like share in my journey of faith and stuff like that. And now that it gets to transition into church, so awesome. It is so, so awesome. And having that just open up just felt great because he was asking me, like, how much do you pay attention to the algorithm? Stuff like that. And I was like, I'm new to it, but I'm learning it. And he's learning that side of stuff too. So it was really good to bounce ideas. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. So that is one thing that I'm now going to start working on and transitioning into helping at the church, not just volunteering with the kids and stuff like that, which I love my little kids. Don't get me wrong. But I like having another area of that because I always thought, when I first graduated college, I've been a manager all my life, with fast food and stuff like that. And even like in high school, like leading my basketball team, captains, stuff like that. And I've always seen myself in a leadership role. And then when college happened, graduated college, got my first big girl job, right? Big girl job. And then had Bella, and then found out that, Bella had all her issues. And when I came to my boss saying, like no daycare will take her because of her allergies, and I physically cannot lay her down and stuff like that, it it cost me my job, which it is what it is. But God just opened another door to, my dad had been begging me with our family business to work for him for a couple years, and wanted me to run his books, wanted me to do all of that type stuff. And I just kept saying no, you know, like I want to do it myself. I want to grow, you know. And finally I just was like, okay, like I'll do it, you know, type thing. And got like world open up, being able to work for my family, being able to grow in my family, grow, you know, in that, and grow in learning a different side of bookkeeping and accounting and stuff for my mom, because my mom was an accountant before she became a teacher, and now she's a doctorate and everything like that. So I inherit the doctor, no, I'm just kidding. But like, just, she's taught me so much more than what college taught me, because, you know, I went into it as managerial side of business, with an accounting background, but I never took the accounting test, which is why I always made a comment, I don't do taxes, right? So just learning that side from her, and then growing in that, and also having the freedom to do what I do with social media, to raise my kids, be able to do all of that. It's just like when one door shuts, another one opens, and it's just so amazing. And I just see God just all in my life and everything happening, and it's amazing. So if you're ever in a place in life and wondering, you know, where do I turn next, just know there's always another door, there's always another path, and it might not be what you think, but it could be the best path for you. So, and that's what also led me into my fitness journey. I mean, like, being able to train and get into bodybuilding and all of this would not have happened at my old job. My old job, I was working all day through the weekend sometimes and stuff like that. So I mean, it wouldn't have been a very good very good time with my kids, and being able to spend time with my kids, and it's just been a blessing. So it's really like saved my life having to get fired and stuff for having Bella, basically. But I'm just really excited that I get to share that side also and transition it. But anyways, enough about that. So that happened Wednesday. Thursday was good, went in for training. And then I was setting everything up, because Friday, as y'all know, I was taking Friday off. Alex and I were going to go to the Atlanta bodybuilding competition. And Friday we decided to make my check-in day, because my friend, I had two friends that I was going to go out with Saturday. Y'all know girls' night. One of them ended up having to bail, and then me and the other friend were still going to go out. But my grandmother, so I have my grandmother and my nanny. My nanny is the one that y'all have been hearing a lot of stuff about, with, you know, just having a hard time, the pickles, all of that type of stuff, right? And then my grandmother is the one, if y'all remember, about 4 or 5 months ago now, she had the heart attack. She ended up falling out on the floor. My sister ended up finding her. Turns out she had the most horrendous case of COVID that there is, like the bad strain. So she's in the hospital now. She's on oxygen. She's gonna be okay. Y'all don't worry. She's gonna get better. She just needs to get rid of the COVID. They've got her on like Paxlovid or something like that. I don't know, all that type of stuff. But she's in the hospital, and that was kind of like, okay, just in case of exposure, you know, because we were already in Atlanta by this time, because all this happened Friday. So Friday, I call my friend and I'm like, hey, I'm going to have to cancel, right? And so my coach was like, well, good. Since you're not going out with them, you can go out with us after the show, because I hadn't really planned on going out after the show. I knew they were going to go celebrate and stuff like that. But I was like, okay, well, we'll go. So we ended up going to dinner with them. So she made Friday my check-in instead of Saturday. But the cool thing is, so let me rewind. Weighed in on Friday. Wednesday, I was 236.4. Lowest I've been, right? 236.4. Going into Thursday, I was 237.2. Friday, I was 237.1. So we're the same weight we were last week. I think what had happened was, and like, I don't honestly know, but I do know that I had doubled my cardio up, as y'all know, because Wednesday missed cardio, Friday was going to miss cardio, doubled it up. I think my body was just holding on, so I'm not that worried about it. So anyway, that was my weigh-in for the check-in. Okay, so I still want to claim 236.4, but I can't, because that's not really what we weighed in at, only on Wednesday. So we go to eat Friday. I weigh in, because she still tells me at dinner, you're still going to weigh in, you're still going to do your check-in photos. I don't want to hear nothing about it. I was like, okay, whatever. So went Friday. I'm going to post a couple of photos right here of me with Heather posing, and then Alex and I. We had cool t-shirts that had her name on it. It was super fun, great show. Stupid expensive. Like, Atlanta needs to get it together. We had to pay like $25 for parking. We had to pay like $4 a bottle of water. I didn't know that we could bring our water in. And by the time like everything had started, I was like, you mean we can bring our water in? So we had that going on. And then the show was outrageously expensive, but it was worth it. It was so worth it. I was so glad that I was able to be there for my friend and hang out with a bunch of my friends that I've made through this community. And so we all went out to dinner. I ate, I drank, because she made us take shots. I don't do shots. If anybody was like in Vegas with me, I don't handle shots very well. I can do mixed drinks, but shots, ugh. So I normally skip out on shots, but she wanted us to do shots of Don Julio. Me and tequila don't do well. But we did that, and then I had a punch bowl. And that was also her fault, because she didn't want to drink alone. And I was like, okay. And there were 2 people who were in prep, and then 1 person doesn't drink liquor. So I was the only one up for the job. But anyways, it was a great night. I was so glad that my parents were able to watch the girls, and that I was able to go and hang out with those friends, because it's becoming like, it feels so good to be surrounded by people with like-mindedness that, you know, I was kind of talking to my husband about this, is in certain pockets of fitness, there's certain stereotypicals, do's and don'ts. And what I love about bodybuilding, and CrossFit is a lot like this, but in bodybuilding, they are food lovers. They love food, but they also know when it's time to eat and when it's not time to eat. You know what I mean? Like, they can differentiate the difference. So when they go out and celebrate, they expect you to eat exactly like they're eating, unless you're in prep or something like that. Like, they completely understand. And like, even the restaurant that they chose, the girl who was in prep was able to get grilled chicken cooked the way she wanted, all this type of stuff. So it feels good, and not to be condemned, because I was like, oh man, like I have check-ins, like I don't want to drink, you know? And she was like, you're going to celebrate with me. And I was like, okay. And she was like, today doesn't matter. One day's not going to kill you, right? But I've also seen the other side of fitness and weight loss, where it's so criticized. And I found myself in this. I found myself in this early on in my journey. When I first started my journey, I was heavy on the criticism of, when you're in a diet, like, you don't need to go out to eat, you don't need to do this, you don't need to do that. And I've learned that that is very unhealthy, but you can also take it to an extreme and eat out way too much to where you destroy your diet, right? So there's a healthy medium, and I found that with my friends who I've surrounded myself with. But I also know that I have friends that look down on that and would have been like, you could have made a better decision. You know what I mean? Like, that type of stuff. And I feel like that is why I am so happy that I found these people that I can confide in, and like just opening up, talking to them, bouncing ideas off of them, because I've learned a lot of bodybuilders also battle with the same stuff that we battle with. Like, they end up binging, they have eating disorders and stuff like that. And they found that bodybuilding has either healed it, or they found out they had it through bodybuilding and were able to heal it. And it was so amazing talking to all these different people and like having them as friends. And it was just so awesome. And it just took a lot of pressure off of me too, knowing that I could eat and not be judged while I was eating. And it was awesome. So, but I woke up Saturday, felt like crap. I have not drank in a long time. I wasn't like drunk or anything, but I don't really drink that much. I get sick. But I didn't get sick. But woke up, felt like crap, weighed in. I was 238.8. Sent it to Crystal and was like, I hate my life. And she's like, shut up, send me your photos. So I sent her my photos. Would y'all believe that my photos look better than they did when I did my check-ins last week? Yeah, I filled out. Like, my muscles were filled out more. My hamstrings, my glutes, my legs were popping a lot more. My back was looking really good. And she was like, are you hungry? Like, hungrier? Like, is your metabolism revved up? And I was like, not really. I just feel like crap. And she was like, that's the alcohol. But it was really neat to see that. It was so powerful to see that it didn't matter that I was up more weight. after eating like that, like I didn't go crazy. I just had like a hamburger, an appetizer, and then the drinks and stuff, which are pure sugar. But I didn't spike. Like it didn't go crazy, you know what I mean? Like, and she was like, okay, we're gonna stick to the same protocol because last week was, you know, garbage of a week, like everything messed up. But we're gonna stick to the plan and keep moving forward. So meal plan has not changed at all. It's gonna be the same as it was last week. Training is not changed, cardio is not changed, and steps are not gonna change. She says she's probably not gonna mess with anything for another week to 2 weeks to see kind of what happens with my metabolism and see if I stay hungry and stuff like that. So that's the game plan moving forward. But yeah, I know this was a rambling video. I was trying to hit all the little targets of what I wanted to talk about what happened during the week and like the cool things that happened and stuff like that. And it was a special day. It was a very, very special day. And I'm so excited that I went, and I'm over the moon. I have like a newfound like love and appreciation for the sport and for what I want to do, and like seeing those girls in person. Like I've watched so many freaking live streams and stuff, and I'm like, but but I mean, seeing it in person and seeing these girls and just wow, you know what I mean? Like wow, like you can only pull so much from a screen. Like being there just like jolted something inside of me, made me so excited. And I actually have some goals, and sorry, I have a mosquito bite. I live in the South. But I have some goals of what I want to do next year. I'm not quite ready to fully share that. I kind of want to talk to Crystal and talk to Heather and some other people about what they think and what we kind of want to do moving forward. But last year is the next year is the last year that I can do a certain something that I want to do. And if anybody has any idea what I'm talking about, leave it in the comments if you think what I'm gonna say. Let's just put it that way. There's something that I really, really want to do next year. I don't know when the dates are gonna be, anything like that, but I've got it up in the coconut what I want to do. But I just kind of gotta pull the trigger and talk to some people about it and set a game plan for it. So. But if you can guess what it is, I'd love to hear your guesses down below. But anyways, that's enough rambling out of me. Next week, I am going to get progress photos for y'all posted, because that would be 4 weeks. I'm going to try to do them every 4 weeks for y'all, just so you don't have to see the same thing over and over again. But yeah, so quads, I'm going to record quads this week for you, so stay tuned for the video. I'm gonna record those on either Wednesday. I think it's gonna be Wednesday, because Monday and Tuesday Alex is gonna be training with me, and then Thursday train with Crystal. Friday I gotta post the video. So anyways, enough of my rambling, enough of all that. My pickles are doing great. If you would have seen in the introduction, I now have them in the second stage, and then there's only one more stage after that. So they're in ice water right now for 3 hours. I take them out, I put them in the vinegar solution, a little mixture I gotta make up, and they sit for 6 hours. Then I take them out, boil the vinegar solution to make a syrup, and then I take the syrup, pour it over the pickles in the jars, and then we are Gucci. So we are T-minus, depending on how long it takes me to jar said pickles, about 8 hours away from having lime pickles and seeing if I made them just as good as my nanny. So fingers crossed, but you will see it though in the next video if they're good or not, because they'll be done by then. But anyways, as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
I've been lost, yeah.